Right. They don't even understand that you know, the way we grew up, you're supposed to spend no more than 10 or 20% of what you make. You know what I'm saying? So you can have something.
It all began with an undercurrent of tension that many had sensed for years. In a world where money, power, and reputation were the currencies of survival, 50 Cent had long been seen as a mentor and benefactor to rising stars, none more so than Lil Meech.
Just being with him everywhere, seeing nice things all the time since I was born, so I always knew that he was doing something. I mean, I don't know, it could have been anything. So I had a fun childhood, crazy childhood.
Under 50 Cent's wing, Lil Meech had once been considered a promising talent. The famed rapper had invested time, money, and trust into grooming him for success. This was not just any casual mentorship. It was a deep, calculated bet on potential. From providing acting lessons to even paying for a stint in rehab, 50 Cent's support for Lil Meech had been unwavering, at least for a while. Yet as the years progressed, the delicate balance between gratitude and entitlement...
He was able to do it because, you know, like financially, I was supporting the idea, and I believe you could do it. He had moved to California and was working with acting coaches, and his dad didn't know that he was actually doing that.
Began to tilt precariously. Big Meech, the patriarch whose own legacy had been marred by past mistakes and a long controversial history in the Black Mafia family, BMF, found himself at a crossroads. His ambitions, fueled by the allure of redemption and a desperate need.
Lil Meech got Richard Millie's chrome hard jeans, 10,000. I buy some chrome hards for 10,000? I might wear them shits for a month, bro.
To reclaim lost honor led him down a path that would ultimately set him at odds with his former benefactor. The initial spark came when Big Meech decided to align with Rick Ross, a move that, while strategic on the surface...
What's the best memory of 50 Cent?
Best memory of 50 Cent? Ever since I met 50 Cent, he's always been stand-up and probably the most truthful person I've ever met.
Carried with it the weight of centuries-old grudges and fresh betrayals. In joining forces with Rick Ross after his release from prison, Big Meech signaled not only a shift in alliances, but also a challenge to the established order that 50 Cent had carefully built around his protégés. The fallout was swift and dramatic. Accusations began to fly like bullets, with 50 Cent taking a hardline stance against Big Meech. In a series of public comments and pointed social media posts, he accused the elder Meech of being a negative influence on his son, Lil Meech. According to 50, the legacy of support he had provided was being undermined by Big Meech's reckless lifestyle, a lifestyle that promoted lavish spending and a dangerous indulgence in substance abuse. The accusation was simple yet piercing. Big Meech had torn apart the fabric of what could have been a steady, upward trajectory for Lil Meech by drawing him into a world of excess and instability. As the drama unfolded, it became evident that Lil Meech himself was caught in a maelstrom of conflicting loyalties. Initially, he had tried to maintain a semblance of loyalty to 50 Cent, swearing that his allegiance was unshakable. But as tensions escalated, it appeared that the son was slowly gravitating toward a new circle of influence. The allure of Rick Ross, with his own brand of swagger and ambition, proved too tempting to ignore. And it wasn't long before Lil Meech began to publicly signal his new allegiance, not just to Rick Ross, but also to another formidable figure in the world of ace. High stakes and high risks, Floyd Mayweather. This bold, almost defiant pivot marked a turning point in the narrative. The once promising protégé, who had enjoyed the safety and structure of 50 Cent's mentorship, now found himself in the midst of a power struggle that pitted old loyalties against new ambitions. In a series of heated exchanges, 50 Cent left no room for ambiguity. He made it clear that the time had come for Lil Meech to step away from the relationship that had once been the cornerstone of his burgeoning career. With words as sharp as any bullet, 50 Cent declared that Lil Meech's chapter on his show was finished. There was no room for reconciliation. The betrayal had cut too deep. Moreover, 50 Cent went as far as to mock Lil Meech, suggesting that the next gig for the troubled young man would be on a reality TV show rather than on a major stage. His disdain was palpable as he recounted the past, reminding everyone of the sacrifices he had made, including taking Lil Meech to rehab when the young man was battling substance abuse issues. These were not trivial gestures. They were lifelines, thrown at a time when few others believed in Lil Meech's potential. The conflict, however, was not limited to personal grievances. It began to echo throughout the industry, drawing in figures who had once been on the sidelines. Tony Yayo and Boozy, among others, found themselves compelled to voice their opinions on the unfolding drama. Boozy, in particular, expressed disbelief at Lil Meech's overly respectful response to 50 Cent's harsh criticism of his father. In Boozy's eyes, had he been in Lil Meech's position, he would have retaliated with far greater ferocity. Yet 50 Cent, ever the strategist, maintained his position, reinforcing the narrative that his support had always been driven by a genuine investment in Lil Meech's future. A future that now seemed jeopardized by misplaced loyalties and reckless behavior. The stakes grew even higher as 50 Cent dug into the past, unearthing old footage and memories that painted a stark contrast between the roles he and Big Meech had played in Lil Meech's life. He recalled a time when Big Meech, despite his own flaws and shortcomings, had been entrusted with the care of the family while he was behind bars. In those moments, 50 Cent's interventions, like sending Lil Meech to acting school and even paying for his rehabilitation, stood out as acts of genuine mentorship and care. These gestures were not only meant to shape a young man's career, but to secure a legacy built on loyalty and mutual support. Yet the narrative was far from one-sided. Big Meech was not one to fade into the background without a fight. Fresh accusations soon emerged that hinted at a deeper layer of jealousy and betrayal. 50 Cent insinuated that Big Meech was not just a bad influence, but that he was, in fact, uncomfortable with the closeness that had developed between 50 Cent and Lil Meech during the years of mentorship. This suggestion of jealousy added a new, bitter twist to the already volatile situation. It was as if the entire conflict was rooted not merely in business or lifestyle choices, but in the raw, human emotions of envy and perceived betrayal, a theme that resonated deeply in an industry where trust was both a currency and a vulnerability. Amid the heated exchanges and public mockery, a new and unexpected development emerged. Rumors began to circulate that Big Meech and Lil Meech, in their quest for redemption and a return to power, were planning a bold move. Whispers in the industry hinted at a potential alliance with Rick Ross and even Floyd Mayweather, a coalition that would, if realized, create a rival version of the Black Mafia family narrative. This was more than a mere shift in allegiances. It was a direct challenge to 50 Cent's established authority over the BMF story. The idea of a new BMF series, one that would be completely independent of 50 Cent's influence, sent shockwaves through the community. Such a move was not only risky from a business perspective, it also threatened to unravel the carefully guarded rights that 50 Cent held over the BMF saga. The legal dimensions of the dispute added another layer of complexity. It emerged that Big Meech no longer held the rights to his own story, a right that had long been the cornerstone of his public persona. Instead, those rights had been sold to Tammy Cowan, the very person who had helped 50 Cent bring the original BMF series to life on television. This revelation cast a long shadow over any plans for an independent project. If Big Meech and his son were indeed planning to collaborate with Rick Ross and Floyd Mayweather, they would soon find themselves entangled in a legal quagmire that could very well put an end to their ambitions before they even began. Meanwhile, as these plans were unfolding behind the scenes, the personal toll on Lil Meech became increasingly apparent. Reports began to surface that he had squandered every dollar he had earned from his involvement with the BMF series. Far from being a savvy investor or a rising star poised to inherit a lucrative legacy, Lil Meech appeared to have thrown caution and millions of dollars to the wind. Lavish spending on designer clothes, flashy cars, and iced-out jewelry became the order of the day, and social media was awash with images of a young man who had apparently forgotten the lessons of restraint that 50 Cent had once tried to instill in him. For many fans and industry insiders, this reckless behavior was more than just a personal failing. It was emblematic of a deeper betrayal. It was a betrayal of the trust that had once been the bedrock of a mentor-protege relationship. A betrayal that now seemed to have irreparably fractured the bonds between 50 Cent and the Meech family. As the drama intensified, public sentiment began to shift. Once, there were those who sympathized with Lil Meech for being caught between two powerful figures. Now, however, the narrative was increasingly painted in stark shades of betrayal and missed opportunities. Lil Meech's mismanagement of his finances, combined with his hasty alignment with Rick Ross and Floyd Mayweather, led many to conclude that he had not only betrayed 50 Cent, but had also squandered the greatest break of his life. The situation reached a fever pitch when 50 Cent, ever the provocateur, revisited the past in one of his most scathing diatribes yet. In a series of social media posts and public statements, he recounted in vivid detail the sacrifices he had made for Lil Meech. From paying for his rehab to offering acting lessons for 2 years, 50 Cent made it abundantly clear that his investment in Lil Meech had been a deeply personal one. A bet on a future that now seemed irrevocably tarnished by betrayal and reckless ambition. He went on to remind everyone that while Big Meech had once been a stabilizing force during his time behind bars, it was 50 Cent who had truly held the family together. His words were not merely an attack on Lil Meech's character, but a carefully constructed narrative designed to reclaim authority over the BMF legacy, a legacy that was now under threat from within. As if the personal and professional stakes weren't high enough, the broader implications of this feud began to ripple through the entertainment industry. With Rick Ross himself announcing intentions to produce a BMF movie, the potential for an all-out media war became a tangible reality. Such a project, however, would not be without its complications. Rumors suggested that in order for Ross to move forward, he would need 50 Cent's permission, given that 50 Cent controlled the TV and film rights to the original BMF story. This legal technicality served as a stark reminder of the power dynamics at play, a dynamic in which 50 Cent had not only the cultural capital, but also the legal leverage to shape the narrative as he saw fit. Even as 50 Cent maintained his adamant stance, the Meech camp was not content to simply accept the status quo. In a bold and defiant move, Lil Meech was seen publicly aligning himself with Rick Ross and Floyd Mayweather. Social media posts showed him out in Miami alongside these influential figures. Each appearance a deliberate signal that the alliance was more than just a fleeting gesture. It was a full-blown declaration of war on 50 Cent's authority. The visual imagery of custom chrome hearts jeans, iced-out watches, and a lavish lifestyle served as a counterpoint to the gritty, hard-edged persona that 50 Cent had cultivated over the years. It was a battle for legitimacy, with every post, every public appearance, and every bold statement contributing to an ever-escalating drama that left fans, insiders, and critics alike wondering how it would all end. Amid the spectacle, questions about loyalty and legacy became inescapable. Was this really about a simple business dispute, or a deeper, more existential struggle for control over a story that had captivated the public's imagination for years? For 50 Cent, the answer was clear. His public pronouncements painted the conflict as a matter of principle, a betrayal not just of his mentorship, but of the trust that underpinned an entire movement. In his eyes, Big Meech's actions, coupled with Lil Meech's reckless spending and shifting loyalties, were a direct affront to everything he had built. And yet, for the Meech family, the motivations appeared more complex, rooted in a mixture of personal ambition, perceived neglect, and a desire to assert independence in a world where legacy often trumps loyalty. As the drama hurtled toward what seemed like an inevitable climax, both camps began making moves that hinted at larger, more ambitious plans. The Meech side was reportedly plotting a major business venture with Rick Ross and Floyd Mayweather, a project that many insiders speculated could take the form of a new TV show or even a movie series about the Black Mafia family. Such an initiative, however, was fraught with peril. Legal entanglements over the rights to the BMF story loomed large, and any attempt to bypass 50 Cent's established control could spell disaster for the ambitious project. It was a classic case of David versus Goliath, with each side playing their cards in a high-stakes game where the wrong move could lead to irreversible consequences. Throughout the heated exchanges, what emerged most starkly was the painful reminder of what was truly at stake. For 50 Cent, it was about reclaiming the narrative, a narrative that had once been defined by loyalty, sacrifice, and the belief that hard work and mentorship could transform lives. The sacrifices he had made for Lil Meech were not mere gestures of goodwill. They were the foundations of a legacy he had painstakingly built over the years. The bitter irony, however, was that this same legacy was now being used as a weapon against him, as 50 Cent found himself forced to defend not just his investments, but his very identity as a mentor and a visionary. For Lil Meech, the situation was equally fraught with both opportunity and peril. Once seen as the prodigy who could carry the torch into a brighter future, he now stood at a crossroads. His decisions, to align with Rick Ross and Floyd Mayweather, to indulge in a lifestyle that many deemed unsustainable, posed not only a threat to his professional future, but also to the legacy of the family he was meant to represent. The lavish spending and public displays of wealth, far from being signs of success, were increasingly viewed as indicators of a deeper malaise, a reckless abandon that could ultimately lead to his undoing. The public narrative, amplified by social, media and industry insiders alike, grew ever more polarized. On one side, staunch supporters of 50 Cent argued that his actions were a necessary corrective, a way to ensure that the values of hard work, loyalty, and calculated risk were not overshadowed by the excesses of a new generation. On the other side, a contingent of fans and observers felt that 50 Cent's harsh treatment of Lil Meech was overly punitive, that the young man's missteps were part of a broader cycle of mistakes and misfortunes that had long plagued those caught in the web of street loyalty and celebrity influence. In the end, the drama between 50 Cent, Big Meech, and Lil Meech encapsulated a timeless struggle, a battle over legacy, loyalty, and the ownership of one's own narrative. It was a story where personal ambition collided with the harsh realities of a world, built on alliances that could be as fragile as they were powerful. As both camps doubled down on their positions, the future of the BMF saga hung in the balance, its outcome uncertain, and its repercussions likely to be felt for years to come. While the ultimate resolution of this feud remains shrouded in uncertainty, one thing is clear: the stakes are higher than ever. In a world where every public gesture and social media post can tip the scales, the decisions made in the coming days will not only determine the fate of a single career, but could reshape the EI narrative of an entire movement. The once promising mentorship between 50 Cent and Lil Meech, built on years of sacrifice and mutual trust, now stands as a poignant reminder that in the relentless pursuit of success, loyalty is both a rare gift and a double-edged sword. And so, as the drama continues to unfold, fans and insiders alike watch with bated breath. The legacy of the Black Mafia family, the future of the BMF series, and the personal destinies of those involved are all intertwined in a story that is as much about the price of ambition as it is about the bonds of loyalty. Only time will tell if redemption, reconciliation, or further betrayal will prevail in this high-stakes game. A game where every move could be the one that changes everything. In this turbulent landscape, the drama remains far from over. With alliances shifting, legal battles looming, and the shadow of past sacrifices ever present, the narrative of 50 Cent, Big Meech, and Lil Meech is a stark reminder of the cost of betrayal and the lengths to which one will go to reclaim a legacy that is, above all, personal.